T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Heyo! At the risk of sounding like Howard Stern. Hey now! Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Very special show. We're still in Calgary, though we're at a new spot today for episode number 1545 of Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show. We're at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. You've heard me talking about it for years here on Canada's daytime sports talk show on the Game Plus television network and streaming as well. Live on location. Randy's with us, his wonderful wife, Michelle, and a live audience. Guys, make some noise back there. Hey, we got a live audience here. They're raucous. They're ready to go from Overtime Hockey Lanes. How you doing, Randy?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much, Rod.
You know, all these years, I never quite figured out how to pronounce your last name. Is it Krawek?
In English, they say Krawek. In Ukrainian, they say Kravets.
Well, okay, what am I saying?
Krawek.
Okay, Randy's here. We got some very special guests on the program today. Theoren Fleury, our dear friend, is coming up in the next segment through all of hour one. And then in hour two, Mark Stiles, who now is of the Western Canadian Baseball League and the Western Canada Pro Scouting Foundation, is going to be with us. Former host of Calgary Flames broadcasts on pay-per-view here in Calgary is going to be with us in hour two to talk sports and all the rest. But Randy, I just got right out of the chute here. We've been knowing each other, as the football players say, for a few years now. It's wonderful being here at Overtime Hockey Lanes for a live show, and things are going great, Michelle tells me.
Things are going really well. We're increasing year to year with on the business side and seeing more and more of the same people come in. So we're getting a few regulars, some aspiring young players coming in doing their summer training here. So it's been a journey and a ride, and the roller coaster still runs.
2022 you opened?
December 2022.
So coming up, that's not that long, actually.
No.
Now that I think about it, it's December will be 3 years for you guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were with us pretty much through all of that. So we're proud to be partners with them. By the way, there will be more CFL talk on the program today. Theo's not afraid to talk CFL. He's at one time was a Rough Riders and Stampeders season ticket holder. I think he identifies as a fan of both. Our poll question today is, it's because it's Wednesday, will be Canada's game of the week in the CFL. So we'll be talking later on with Mark Stiles about week 9 and that. Comments are coming in. Travis writes, morning all, looking forward to a great show. Theo has always been a great player and someone I have huge respect for. And the CFL fans want to talk to, because I get it. It's summertime. But one thing about Calgary, I noticed this last night at the Western Canada Pro Hockey Scouting Foundation, it is year-round. Hockey's year-round here.
Hockey is year-round. There's lots of other sports. There's lots of other distractions in the summer, but still everybody wants to do hockey.
So how can they do that here? I always say there's no off-season at Overtime Hockey Lane. So talk about what you got going on down here.
We have, I don't like to call it a hockey training center. I like to call it a hockey fun center.
And that would be true.
Yeah. You come in and have some fun, shoot a puck, hit some targets, and just enjoy yourself, whether you've shot a million pucks or you haven't picked up a stick before and don't know how to shoot. You can come in and try.
Well, I'll tell you what, the show looks really, really good on Game Plus TV right now. You got it on all the screens here, which is great. I think you have it on every day. And great job, Corey at Skycron, our production company, for pulling this off. This looks really good and all the rest. But tell me if you don't mind, because from the second I walked in here, I loved it. And I didn't want to leave. And you know that. And I've been here multiple times. It's just a great friendship and relationship. What was the impetus for Overtime Hockey Lanes? Because it's unique, man.
It is. It is originally my idea, but how I got the idea, my buddy Mike, who has passed away in 2023, was thinking about building mini rinks so that the 9-year-olds could play. So here in Calgary, 9 and under all play on half ice. So he wanted to build a single center with 4 little mini rinks in it. And I was talking about, well, what are the brothers and sisters going to do when they're hanging out? Well, we should just build a little lane for them to play in, because they're not allowed to shoot like we did as kids, shoot in the hallways. You know, we'd bounce it off the wall, bounce it off the side of the boards. Now you get in trouble for that. So, so I said, well, let's just build a lane. We'll put a net at the end. Then they can just take their shots on that net. And I thought, oh, well, if I do one, I can do a bunch. And so way back in 2019, I was looking at seeing if anybody else did it. And there's lots of places that have 2 or 3, maybe 4 lanes that are separated by net, but it's all training. You're in there, you're going to play.
It's work. Yeah.
It's work. And I thought, well, let's just have it open to anybody and everybody, whether you've born on the farm playing hockey or you've just come to Canada and don't know what hockey is, and I want to try that Canadian sport. Let's do that. Anybody can come in and try hockey here. So that's kind of my idea of this as as you put it, the amusement center for hockey.
It's what it is.
And one of Gretzky's great things that he mentioned when he was in an interview says, I never practiced.
Yeah.
I went out and I played. I was having fun. It wasn't necessarily practice. I just went out and played because I had so much fun. And that's what I want this place to be, is a hockey fun center.
That's perfect. I didn't know that you were. I didn't know that you were listening to me when I said an amusement park for hockey players. So thank you. I didn't know that you were. But the fun thing is when you watch hockey, everybody, and you see those guys like Matthew Tkachuk is so good at it, standing in front of the net doing tips. I did that back here. You could do that all day, and you think it's easy? It's not. This is a place where you could really get good at it. Hey.
Oh, absolutely. From kids come in, they want to do mishies. We've had Ollie and Jacob come in here, some hockey influencers, and they're doing their thing, and the kids see that and I want to do mishies. I want to do this. I want to hit the crossbar. And like, yeah, we can do that. And just, you want to try that? Go ahead.
Well, we actually only have a little over a minute here with you, but technologically, you've come far since you opened, right?
Yeah.
So just say what you got new.
What we have new, we have the Knockout Net, which is an electronic net with 13 different games on it. We have a Snipe Lights, electronic targets. We're looking at getting into some VR hockey. We have a little mini rink for mini sticks, where kids always love to play the mini sticks. We have our Rod Pedersen $500 shooting challenge.
Shoot at my face. No, just go in that little slit for $500 and you get it.
It's about a 1/4 inch wider than a puck, 1/2 inch higher. And I've done it 6 times. My wife won't pay out.
$3,000?
Well, about $2,500, and yeah, $3,000. But wife won't pay. She says I don't follow the rules.
I love it. Of course not. That's not your job. Well, Randy, thanks for the relationship. Thanks for everything. I just love being here, as you know it. And thanks for having us today.
Thanks for coming in, Rod. Appreciate it.
Theoren Fleury joining us next right here at the table. There's still time to join us at Overtime Hockey Lanes. We'll be right back.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Nazareth's Canadian Farewell Tour is coming to Moose Jaw. Live at Temple Garden Center, October 17th. With special guest, Lee Aaron. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or sasktix.ca.
Welcome back, everybody. We're live at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. As Theoren Fleury just said, high-tech operation we got going here. He wants a microphone stand. He's royalty now, which we've always known. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. I was shocked that you weren't on the golf course today, that you had time for us. I appreciate
it. I'll be there
shortly. How's the golf game, Theo?
Golf game is as good as it's ever been.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Last winter, I met the guys from Cobra Golf, and they said, would you like to be an ambassador for Cobra Golf? And I was like, I would absolutely love it.
Right down your alley.
Yeah. So it was probably the first time I actually got fitted properly for a set of clubs, and, ball speed, launch angle, swing, whatever, all that stuff. So I spent all winter in the sim with these new Cobra Golf.
Here in town?
Yeah. Place called Extreme Golf, it's called. And I have played probably the best golf of my life. So it's been great.
So it's a thing. Getting fitted works.
Absolutely, 100%. I see, because I play in a lot of golf tournaments, and I see a lot of people who, just have the wrong clubs. And when you have the wrong clubs, don't expect to play well.
How many rounds will you get in this year?
I get in between 120 and 140 rounds a summer. So I think I'm about 75 right now.
And it's becoming like a job. What is a job now, I guess? You're repping Cobra.
Yeah. Well, it's not a job. It's a passion and an obsession with most golfers. Golf is an obsession. But, it's been great. I finally broke 70 at Cottonwood this year. So
wow.
Yeah, it was
your
good.
regular home course.
Yes.
Peter Marr's there.
Peter
right?
Marr, yeah.
You ever golf with Pete?
I haven't golfed with him. He's had some health issues and hasn't been able to play the last couple of years, but I saw him down at Cottonwood the other day, so hopefully he gets
fine. Yeah. Theoren Fleury with us, the iconic Theoren Fleury, 1,100 NHL games, 1,100 points, roughly. Stanley Cup, Olympic gold, World Junior gold. What am I missing? That's everything, right?
Canada Cup.
There you go.
Turner Cup.
All the cups.
Yeah.
Theo is with us here, good enough to spend time. I wanted to mention this. This was last night. I didn't show you this.
That's awesome.
My dad was inducted into the Western Canada Pro Hockey Scouting Foundation Wall of Fame, and all the scouts got belt buckles. It's a Western thing. It's a Calgary thing, and has names on it. Says Dallas Stars and all the. It's funny because I said to Garth Malarchuk, the guy putting it on, he was on the show yesterday. I said, "What's the criteria to get into this Hall of Fame?" He said, "Scout for 20 years, you get in." He goes, "Because if you can do it that long, You're obviously good at it.
So you don't actually have to find any players. You just
That's what he said.
Just be a scout.
It's not that easy. How long was your NHL career?
15
years. Yeah. I just as we get older, 20 years doesn't seem that long, but I think if somebody's starting, it probably would be long.
Well, your career goes by like that, and here I am, 22 years post career, and
right?
You go,
where to go?
What happened? You know what I mean? So, you spend your whole entire childhood, trying to get to the NHL, and then you get to the NHL, and within a matter of minutes, it's over.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and here's the thing. I was saying to Theo, we love football. Obviously, I teased that you might talk football with me today, but this is a hockey place, man.
Right.
365, and your name was on the lips of the scouts last night. Packed hall in Okotoks, and they said, "Oh, Theo's coming on. Theo's coming on." They said, "Don't talk politics with him. Don't bring it up." I said, "I won't be the one bringing it up. It'll be Theoren." But I feel like you've piped it down a little bit.
Yeah, because some I've been working with a coach over the last little while, and basically what he said to me is, he goes, "You have to realize that Canada has and always will be a socialist communist country." And I was like, oh my God, that's profound. And so, what I need to do is figure out a way to groove in that system, and
it's not really your thing. Just how to exist in that,
right? Saying. Exactly. Yeah. And hopefully, there's lots of talk of separatism in Alberta, which I think is a great idea. I think that Ottawa has, constrained Albertans for a long time, and we're among the best people in the country. We're the hardest working. We're the most charitable. We're, et cetera, et cetera. And so, it's been hard to watch our province go through what we've gone through,
Painful.
Yeah.
And the West in general, because you're a Sask guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So from the audience, Rich in Edmonton says, "Okay, now I know what's wrong with my golf game. I need to get fitted. Thanks, Theo."
Yes.
Well, if you're going to do it, make it Cobra. Right?
100%.
Yeah.
They got some great stuff.
Rob in Las Vegas says, "Theoren, see if you can drag Rod out for a round of golf." It's not going to happen. I don't like it, and it's not fun for anybody. Please stop.
How can you not like golf?
Because I'm terrible at it, and it's expensive, and it pisses me off. So why would I spend time? I'd rather come here and shoot pucks. That's fun.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I'd rather hit golf balls than shoot pucks.
Fair.
Right?
We all have our thing, right? Wayne in Victoria, BC says, "I love Theo's book, Playing with Fire. I absolutely recommend it." And there are some questions here, but for anybody that's been through trauma like yourself, I ask them, what did writing that book do for you? And I get different answers from everybody.
Right.
What did it do for you?
Well, it changed my life, right? Completely changed my life and put me on a different direction, and, moved me away from the game of hockey and into what I believe is the biggest epidemic on the planet. I've been around this for 20 years. I've been studying human behavior for 20 years. And, at the core of every single issue we have in society starts with unresolved trauma. So, when people talk about mental health and people talk about mental illness, I'm like, no, those are symptoms of past traumas. So, what we have is an epidemic of unresolved trauma, right? And as a society, we haven't created a safe space or a safe environment where people can say, "Hey, I was raped 150 times by my coach," right? There's no space for that. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to listen to it, and nobody wants to deal with it. And here we are in 2025 with, the highest suicide rates on the planet. More and more pedophilia is being exposed. The fentanyl crisis is out of control. All of these things, but they're all mere symptoms of the core issue, which is trauma. I'm traumatized.
And pain,
emotional pain.
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah.
Right. And people say, addiction is emotional pain management. That's what addiction is. Right. And because we live in a society where, like, I don't even know how many types of alcohol there are now. Like,
Oh my
it's
God.
crazy. It's insane. You know what I mean? And so, we're just feeding, that emotional pain. If I don't have to deal with it, I can drink it away or I can do that. But what you don't realize is while you're doing that, you're neglecting your children, you're abusing your spouse, all of these,
Destroying yourself,
all of these things. And so, it's really hard to watch, because being a guy who, was in that kind of pain for, the majority of my life, I get it. But, at some point, you're faced with the ultimate choice and decision. Am I going to live or am I going to die? Because if you keep drinking alcohol, we know it's one of the greatest causes of cancer on the planet is alcohol.
It's the OG,
right? You know what I mean?
Still number one.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. And, I've just spent so much of my time, trying absolutely everything that's out there in the therapy field to try to make myself feel better. Right. Because for 40 years of my life, I didn't feel good. Yeah. I was sad. I was lonely, anxious, depressed, all of that stuff, despite having this,
great career,
very successful career that was happening kind of parallel at the same time.
You seem pretty calm, more calm today than I've ever seen you.
Yeah.
You've had a good morning?
Well, I've gotten into frequency and vibration over the last, since COVID started, because when COVID happened, I was losing my mind and, fell into a deep, dark depression and I was having suicidal ideations and all kinds of crazy stuff. And so somebody suggested, start researching frequency and vibration. And so I bought 3 tuning forks, okay? 128 hertz, 256 hertz, and 512 hertz. And each one has a different function, right? And so you hit these tuning forks and you put them on your chakras and your thing, and it really
brings you down or brings you up or whatever.
Well, because cortisol is the big killer, right? What's cortisol?
Stress.
Cortisol is our stress hormone that we and cortisol is like acid in our body. Like it destroys, the nervous system and all this stuff.
Stress kills.
And so I've been doing a lot of frequency and vibration. And so that is what you're probably seeing is the results of me, going down this road and going down this path of, because they say for every disease, there's a frequency that will heal whatever it is you have. So
that's working.
Yeah, it's working.
It's clearly working.
Yeah.
So, by the way, in the next segment, we'll get into some hockey talk. I want to talk to you about how you think Mitch Marner will work out with Vegas and some of the hockey moves and stuff. And as he perked up when I said football, so we should talk about that.
I actually watched the Calgary game, and that was the first CFL game I'd watched in a long time. And man, I was mad at the end of it.
That was when Montreal won here.
That they blew it.
It's funny. I thought the Stampede Bowl was cool because they said they would never play during Stampede, and then they play and kick off Stampede, so that it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Funny how things change.
Well, you have fans from all over the world.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course. Makes sense to me.
I never quite figured out why they wouldn't, but I'm like, oh, okay. I'm the idiot. I get told that all the time, right? So I believe it. But I got to ask you, the Breaking Free Foundation Golf Tournament is coming up August the 14th.
Yes.
We should, in this segment, since we're talking about this stuff, we have 2 minutes. Tell folks about that.
Yes, we're doing kind of a new format. Actually, one of the ex-players, I think it's called Calgary Golf Futures. They redid the whole place. They put in a bunch of really cool technology. They have a little 9-hole course. And so what we're doing this year is we're going to do 9 holes of par 3, and each hole actually has a hole-in-one prize on it. And then from there, you'll go into the Sims and play 9 holes on the Sim. So
where is it?
It's just on Glenmore and Deerfoot. Like it's
okay.
right in there. And yeah, they do a good job. And so hopefully, I know that all of our whole sponsors have been sold out so far, but we need golfers. So
really?
if you're listening, we would appreciate
Get the word out.
Appreciate you coming out and support a great foundation. You know, we're a trauma PTSD based foundation, and what we do is we provide therapy grants to people who can't afford therapy, which is the majority of people on the planet. You know, I believe that the field of psychology has, priced themselves out of the market, and it's become an elitist sort of thing. And so what we do is we provide therapy grants for people who can't afford therapy. We pay for your first 6 sessions with a trauma-informed therapist, and we've actually saved lives in this program. So it's been great.
August 14th, Breaking Free Foundation. We'll get to the details a little later on. For now, we got to take a quick timeout, and we'll be right back with Theoren Fleury live from Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. We'll be right back here on the Game Plus Television Network and streaming live.
Nice.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at zasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Cunning, baffling, powerful. Hey. Theoren Fleury is with us. We are live. I haven't got to the quick six show topics yet, believe it or not. I have topics. We haven't got to any of them yet, and I hope that we do. But we've got Darren watching in Salt Lake City, and he watches every day. Great guy. He's a football fan. We'll do more football later in the week. But he goes, time goes by fast. I still remember Theo playing in the old Salt Lake Palace in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Still my favorite Salt Lake Golden Eagle. Did you ever think the NHL would be there?
Well, you know what? When I was there, I was doing a bunch of media stuff, and I said, if I was playing in the league right now, I would demand a trade to go and play in Salt Lake.
Come on.
That's how great of a place it is. People have no idea how big and great a place Salt Lake is to raise a family. And, it's great scenery. It's in the Rocky Mountains. And, I was only there for half a year, but, obviously I left an impact while I was there. And
leave an impact everywhere. What are you talking about? But while I started to learn, once Salt Lake got a team, there's a lot of people from Alberta that have like winter homes there and stuff.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely spectacular place to be.
What do you remember about playing there?
Just the fans, how great they were. Yeah, it was awesome. Like we all had host families there, so we just became part of the community. It was really a great place.
IHL.
And we won there, right? Not the year that I was there, but the year before. So after my season was done in Moose Jaw, and I went to Salt Lake and played in the playoffs, and we won the Turner Cup that spring.
Another cup. We didn't list that.
Another one. Yes.
Do you have a ring for that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this was the IHL, and you guys had billets?
Well, host families.
Different.
So people who, if we needed something and we didn't know where to go, like, if your car breaks down, hey, where do I go to get my tire fixed or whatever? They were just, really great families.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We don't hear that very often.
Yeah.
The
Salt Palace was,
what was that like?
One of probably the best rinks in the IHL. We had 13,000 people in that place every single night. So to see the success of the Utah Mammoth, now I guess they're called. I actually went to a game last year, and the rink is fantastic.
Delta Center.
Yeah, and the atmosphere was incredible. And I hear the owner is a great guy and, wants to be successful. And so, yeah.
Well, the only thing I don't like about that is how they've completely shunned the Arizona record book and history. I hate that entirely. And that's just the way sports is now. Like Washington Nationals completely forgot the Expos. It never used to be that way.
Yeah.
Do you care that they would do that? Or because I had Arizona ties. My friend Gary Drummond owned the team.
If you forget about where you came from, then you'll never get to where you want to go.
Brian Sutter said that last night on the stage.
Yeah.
Brian Sutter said that last night. Is that where you got that?
No.
Write it down. If you forget where you came from, you won't remember where you're going.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Brian said that last night. Current NHL, and if anybody has any questions, fire them our way. I should tell you that Western Dodge text line is open, 902-518-3033. Proud partners of the RP Show. Western Dodge and Moose Jaw, big city selection with small town service. Going into free agency, everybody said that Mitch Marner was the prized guy, and I don't think there's any doubt that he was.
Yeah.
What he went signed for $12 million in Vegas.
Yep.
What do you think of him as a player, and what do you think that marriage will do?
Well, he's got, obviously he won in junior, right? He's got a Memorial Cup, but in order to get to legendary status, you have to win, right? And until Mitch Marner wins, then it doesn't matter how many points you put up, during the regular season. Where you make a name for yourself is in the playoffs, and obviously being in Toronto, he didn't accomplish that. And but he's away from Austin Matthews, and I think he will get to where he wants to go now because he doesn't have to play with that guy.
Not a fan?
Not a fan at all. No, not a fan.
Not like, don't like the way he plays or the way he leads?
Don't like anything about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and he
can score. He can
Sure.
score, but what was that little thing they had at the All-Star break this year? What was that
The
called?
skills?
No. The
Oh,
tournament.
the Four Nations face-off.
Four Nations face-off. Well, whose fault was it on McDavid's goal? Austin Matthews, right? And that summed up his whole entire career right there.
Wow. And they lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, it's a Toronto thing. And I see it in Saskatchewan with the Rough Riders. They're still banging on Cody Fajardo. They can't win because of him. It's just a mentality.
Yeah.
But you want to blame Mitch Marner that they haven't won since 1967? That's kind of the sense that I get. They want to pin everything on him.
Of course. But, hey, you're making $12-14 million and, the score's tied. Game 7. The coach ain't looking at the fourth line. He's looking right at you. And
what are you doing?
And, as an elite player, those are the kind of situations you want to be in. You've trained your whole entire life to do that. And, so when it happens, you need to succeed. Otherwise, you get labeled as such.
Yeah, well, you played in a lot of – it was awesome your time in Calgary, but you at least had – hey, Tony, you had time to play in other markets.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this, the pressure on Canadian team thing that it's costing? It's a reason the Canadian teams can't win a Stanley Cup because of the pressure in the market.
Well, find better character, competitive guys then in the draft.
But you've heard it.
Yeah, of course. But, so what I tell kids nowadays, I go, listen, I got picked 417th in the draft, 500 points in junior, all this stuff. And I go, when I got to the NHL, I was a fourth line centerman on the Stanley Cup team in 89. So when I got here, they didn't care if I scored a goal. My role
wasn't your job. Yeah.
That wasn't my job. That wasn't my role. My role was to provide momentum changes and to draw penalties because we had the number one power play in the NHL, right? That was my role, right? So what I tell kids nowadays, you can play 10 years in the NHL, make $20 million and never score a goal. And they go, well, what are you talking about? I go, just be hard to play against. Just be competitive. And if you look at the Florida Panthers, that's why they're winning, is they have competitive guys who are skilled, but what sets them apart is their competitiveness. Brad Marchand, Bennett, Tkachuk, these guys.
All of them.
Right? And because the NHL is a copycat league, guess what's going to happen? Now they're telling all their scouts, we need to find the Marchands, the Bennetts of the world because that's how we're going to win. And back in our day, that's what it was. The most competitive teams, the teams that competed at the highest level, won championships.
I'm listening. I'm just setting my timer here. Well, the thing is about that is it's not fun to play. Like when I watch the Panthers live, 200 feet of the ice, they're in your face.
Yeah, they're not fun to play against at all.
But it's not a fun way to play either. Like it's physically exhausting.
And where was McDavid and Draisaitl in game 5 and 6? Gone because they didn't bring their compete level up to the same level as the Florida Panthers, and they took their will away to win. And that is old-time hockey. That's why hockey is so great, is because your job as a player is to take the will to win against the guy you're playing against, which means you got to compete. And if you don't compete, you lose.
And it brings a locker room together, and it holds each other accountable.
100%.
Right? If there's a guy not doing it, how come he can do it, not do it? Yeah. You just got fire in your eyes talking about this.
Of course, because that's what I love about our sport, right? And the biggest reason why, what'd they tell me? You're too small, you're never going to make it. You're too small, you're never going to make it, right? But if you can't measure the intangibles, right? What's your compete level? How bad do you want to win? Do you hate losing, right? And I show that every night on the ice, right? Because if I took a shift off, I could go back to Salt Lake. I go back to Salt Lake. And then if if I go back to Salt Lake, guess what? I'm never coming back to the NHL. And guess what? I'm heading over to Europe for 20 years to.
You'll never be heard of again.
Exactly.
We'll be right back. One more segment with Theo, and we're getting into the really good stuff here. Can I hear from the live audience? Hey! Hey, we'll be back here on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are live, Overtime Hockey Lanes. One more segment with Theoren Fleury here, and there's a few people that would like to chat with him afterwards. You got some fans, Theo.
Awesome.
But you know that. We were talking about the Florida Panthers in the break, and just a veritable wealth of these stories. We feel like we're doing an after dinner. They're so much fun, aren't they?
I know.
Haven't done one in a while. I was asking him about Alexander Barkov, of the captain of the Florida Panthers. You got a story about?
Yeah, I played with his dad in Finland during the lockout in Tappara. same build, same skater. They look pretty much identical, but obviously Alex has had a lot of success, and from what I understand, is a great captain.
Quiet. They call him the perfect human being.
Right.
Is his dad like that? Just respectful,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Very
great
nice
leader.
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Because, well, we were talking about heart. Like Theo and I were discussing this place, Overtime Hockey Lanes. It's not, and Randy will say it, he owns it. It's not a training center. It's it was my word, an amusement park for hockey players. It's to be fun.
Right. Well, and essentially that's what
hockey should be.
What we've gotten away from, right? You know, people would look at this as a training facility, but if we had one of these in Russell, Manitoba, when I was growing up, where do you think I'd be?
You'd be there all day.
I'd be here all day. You know what I mean?
That's why I love
it.
Right? Yeah.
Because it was fun, right? And it was a distraction from, life. Right?
Yeah. Well, I quite often get this in Florida. Can we get in Overtime Hockey Lanes down in Florida? Can you get on that, Randy? I know you're interested in doing that for sure. But you talked about being a fourth liner with the Flames. And I don't, but they all watch this show, Tim Hunter and those guys.
Yeah.
The cup clinching game, you played, right? You were in the lineup, but some guys weren't.
Yeah.
Hunter was one.
Poplinski.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the kind of depth we had.
Well, it's kind of a legendary, vaunted story in this town,
yes.
right? Can you tell that?
Well, you have 23 guys on your roster, 20 can play. Crispy till this day talks about, how excruciating it was to
not play
decide the lineup for that day. And I can see, where it all come from. But the bottom line is, we're in a winning industry. And obviously the team had a lot of high expectations on it, had failed many times in the past. And here was our opportunity. And obviously Crispy made the right decision because we won the game and won the Stanley Cup.
That's why coaches coach and broadcasters broadcast and play. We all do our own thing. I said I was with the Scouts last night, the Western Canadian Scouting Pro Hockey Hall of Fame. My dad got this belt buckle. He went into the Hall of Fame. And I said to Theo that they're all talking about you, Theo, and they all love you. And you said, well, where were they when they were drafting me?
I know.
Well, talk about that.
417th in the draft, right? First year of eligibility, didn't get drafted. Second year, went in the 8th round, 166th overall. And so that's what I tell kids too. I go, it doesn't matter what number you get picked. The number is only an opportunity. And what you do with that opportunity is, right? And so, and then another thing I always mention is, I sit like mid-60s all-time scoring in the NHL. And I go, I averaged 1 point a game.
Yeah.
1 point a game, and I'm in the top 100 scorers of all time. So if you think your kid is going to go to the NHL and light it up, not going to happen. Those guys are very few and far between. Look at Sidney Crosby. He's had a great career, but how many points is he behind Gretzky?
Quite a few.
1,000?
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So what I try to tell kids is if you want more ice time, if you want to play more, then learn how to play the whole entire game, right? Learn how to take faceoffs, learn how to kill penalties, learn how to play on the power play, learn how to play in the last 30 seconds of the game, holding a lead, those things. And if the coach trusts you, you will never leave the ice.
When did you learn that?
Probably when Dave King came to Calgary. He wasn't a great in-game coach, but he was one of the best practice guys ever, and he turned me into a all-round great hockey player where I could play in all situations. And that's why, I think towards the end when I was in Calgary, I think I averaged the most ice time of any forward in the NHL. I was playing like 23, 24, 25 minutes every single night. Why? Because the coach could trust me in those situations.
Is it a little frustrating to say that and just know that a lot of people don't understand what you're saying? Because last night, it's a night with the Sutters at this Scouts thing.
Right.
And we're having a hot stove, and I'm in the crowd watching it. And somebody said to Brian Sutter, you're coaching your grandkids in hockey now. How's that different? You were the NHL coach of the year. He goes, I'm teaching them the same thing.
Exactly.
And people wouldn't understand. You get Brian.
Yeah.
You get where he's coming from.
I totally get him. Yeah. He's a very intense guy who isn't a big X and O guy, but he's a motivator, and he's demanding, and I respected guys like that. And I also knew that he had 27 majors in his rookie season in the NHL, where he fought 27 times. So to me, you automatically get my respect because of how you played, right? You know, it was a little hard. It was a little harder, you know, with the X's and O guys, the video guys, you know, like I guarantee you, if assistant coach gave me an iPad on the bench and was pointing out during the game that, you know, maybe I did,
your faults,
maybe I did something wrong, I would smash that thing into a million pieces.
I could see that.
And then I would turn to him and say, guess what? I'm the only guy on this bench who can atone to that mistake,
back out there,
because I can score goals and make plays and all that. So,
wow. From the audience, I'm getting. I got to get to the viewer questions because they're good. Rob in Las Vegas says Paul Maurice has developed a strong team culture in Florida in which he emphasizes old school hard work. John in Winnipeg says love and respect you, Theo. Troy in Toronto says good day, guys. What's up, Theo? I know this is a sports show, but I have to ask what you are up to these days in the recovery world. Anything new? I met Troy when we were doing a live show in Toronto in June. He's coming up on a year sober, so way to go, Troy. He went away, and he's doing great.
Awesome.
And you're working in the field big time.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the folks what you're doing, please.
Just basically what I've been doing for the last 20 years is, you know, talking about trauma mostly. You know, I'm not, because I said that mental illness and addiction is just a symptom of trauma. You know, what I've tried to do is I've tried to speak more about the trauma, because I believe that, you know, when we get the opportunity to tell that story for the first time and we're not judged, we're not ridiculed, you know, we're in a really nice, safe space. I really believe that that's the first step in the process of healing, is when we feel safe. And if we feel safe, that's when the magic of healing happens, is when we allow people to tell us their stories, right? And there's so many people out there who are afraid to speak about, you know, my dad beat the shit out of me every single day my whole entire childhood, or there was no food in our house, or I was abused by the counselor, the teacher, the neighbor, all that stuff. We refuse to acknowledge that those things happen. And there's millions and billions of people walking around on this planet who have this secret, right? And in the program, you're only as sick as your secrets, right? And when you carry those secrets around,
it rots you
inside. So if we give people the opportunity to speak about these things, and so, you know, one of my most favorite things I do is I do a lot of workshops, and, you know, during the workshop, we always have that one person who's been carrying around this stuff for a long time. And so what I try to do is create that safe space and that safe environment. And when that person stands up and for the first time in their life tells that story, I observe everybody around who's witnessing this thing. And it is truly the reason why I get out of bed, is for those kind of healing moments that happen. And I would trade Stanley Cups and Olympic gold medals and all that stuff for that moment.
Because it feels good.
Oh, it's unbelievable, because real people's emotions come out, you know, crying, you know, those things are so powerful to witness and to be, to hold space for, is incredible.
Theo and I we're both certified recovery coaches. We went to the Connecticut Center of Addiction Recovery. It was so funny, based in Hartford. And Theo says, puts his hand, they said, any questions? He puts his hand, I got a question. And they're like, from Theoren Fleury. He goes, call me Theo. He's like, why are we not talking about trauma? It's day 3. They're like, why don't we not start with this?
Right.
You're the one guy, the kid in the back of the room.
Of course, because it's so frustrating, because that's what holds each and every person back individually is their trauma experiences. And if you're not allowed to talk about them, if you're not allowed to speak of them, then you, like you said, they become a rot, right? Cortisol, that whole neurochemistry involved in, feeling anxious, feeling depressed, all of those things. And
with 30 seconds. Sorry.
It's about connection, right? To me, people say, well, what is spirituality? Well, spirituality to me is about relationship, right? And if I have a great relationship with myself, how do you think all of my other relationships are going to be? They're going to be the same.
Not good.
No, they're going to be the same.
We got to break. We got to go.
So
thank you, Theo.
You're welcome.
Hour 2 coming up right after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Spirito Italian. Come in. Enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Spirito Italian. Come in. Enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Pardon me? You don't carry one around? Oh, you need a marker? Yeah. I actually do have one. Believe it or not. Okay, everybody. Welcome to live. Yes, I'm aware. Thank you. Thank you, producer Corey. Yes, we're live, and everybody's going to enjoy this. Don't sign that, Theo. I got one. I legitimately have one. We were expecting to have Mark Stiles with us here in hour 2, but he's just informed us that he's not going to be able to join us live here at Overtime Hockey Lane. So Tony. Well, there's another one. Sorry about that. Okay. 1 second. How's that for you? Is that better? Okay. Yeah, we might as well. Yeah. So, anyways, Mark Stiles unable to join us today from over here at Overtime Hockey Lane. So that's where we are in hour 2, and it's going to be 1 hour of you and me, everybody. Lucky you. So, but that's okay. We can handle it. We had a wonderful first hour with Theoren Fleury here. What are you having, a garage sale, Tony? What are you doing over there? We've got Theo signing some gear here. So listen, this is what we were talking about earlier. The quick 6 show topics. We're going to get it to it now here in hour 2. We're live on Game Plus Television, live on YouTube as well. We welcome your questions and comments that way, and we'll get to all the topics that we did not earlier across the sports world. Number 1 topic was this. We had Randy Kravik with us in hour 1, the owner proprietor of Overtime Hockey Lanes here in Calgary. That was our first topic. Our second was last night's induction of the Western Canadian Pro Hockey Scouting Foundation. And all those scouts, 300 of them, live at the Viking Rentals Center in Okotoks, inducting 30 scouts. The surprise 30th, because somebody showed up here today, Gary, a Rider fan. He said, who was the 30th, the big surprise guest or scout being inducted into the Hall of Fame? And it was Dwayne Sutter, after his 20-plus years of scouting and coaching and so forth in the National Hockey League. This was the belt buckle that was given to my dad, his 20-plus years in the scouting fraternity. It's a Western thing. If you know, you know. If you don't, you'll never know. Point 3 of the quick 6 show topics. The Toronto Blue Jays have lost 4 games in a row, been outscored 40-14 during that stretch, and could be swept today by the last-place Baltimore Orioles. But Toronto manager John Schneider says there's no need to panic as the AL East leaders try to snap out of their ill-timed funk. The Jays are 4 games ahead of the New York Yankees and 5 up on the Boston Red Sox. So it's a matinee today, the Blue Jays and the Orioles, and seems to have taken a bit of the steam out of Blue Jays fever across Canada, but they'll be fine. Still, as I say, still a, 4-game lead? Yeah, up on the Yankees and 5 up on the Boston Red Sox. So we'll be listening to that game this afternoon as we make our way home to the 306. Point 4 was hockey notes, and there really aren't any right now, largely, but listen, were you watching last hour? You might want to hit rewind or go back on your PVR, because Theo Fleury was amazing with his notes on the National Hockey League and his thoughts on Mitch Marner. And I think Theo has adjourned for the day here. He's got a golf tee time later, but we talked about, let's get into it here. And we're going to get to the CFL next because it is summer, and I get that. But all these kids want to talk about the skills, and it took me a while when Randy said the players come in here wanting to learn the Michie. The what? The Michigan. The lacrosse style goal. That's what the kids all want to do because Bedard's doing it and so forth. These guys are doing it. Well, last night I was with, 200 to 300 hockey scouts. Do you think they are looking for kids that can do the Michigan? They are not. They're looking at guys who will go into the corner, guys that will win a face-off, guys that will kill penalties. That's what they're looking for, and so, but that is speaking another language to the people that just want to make the highlight reel and all the rest. Now, having said all that, Theo did not mince words. He never does on anything, but on Austin Matthews. Doesn't have the time of day for him. Go back and watch that if you want. That was Theo letting it rock. He could be the next Don Cherry if he wanted to be. Oh my God, this is funny. Big Bob's watching in Trois-Rivières, Quebec. He says, scouts, an overrated job. Bob, I don't think you and I can be friends. Because you don't know anything. So I'm not going to sit here. Not only is it not overrated, they're the most unheralded part of any organization. The players are found by somebody, and the scouts are the ones that find them.
And I guess as I'm sitting here, because Mark Stiles was to be with us in this segment, he couldn't make it from the Western Canadian Baseball League. Something came up, so he's just let me know. With that induction last night, the Scouts, they are unheralded. And I'll say this about I think there were 3 teams bought tables at that induction last night for the Scouts Hall of Fame. The Leafs, the Oilers, the Flames. But that's it. Out of 32 teams sponsoring this night or supporting this night of their Scouts. And they are unheralded. They get no credit whatsoever. But where I really, now my dad was with Dallas for 26 years and 10 years in junior before that. But where I really noticed something about Scouts was my years with the Regina Pats. When you work for the team, you get to know all the Scouts. So I was with them for 20 years. And then the team got sold, and we weren't very good for a long time. And then the team gets sold, and within 2 years, the Pats were in the league final for the first time since 1984. And there was a Scouts weekend where they all came to Regina, and I'm walking into their room in the rink, and it's all the same Scouts. And I'm like, wait a minute. These are all the same guys for the last 20 years? How come we were bad before and we're good now? It wasn't about the Scouts. They were always finding good players. It was the bad decisions made at the top. So, overrated job, my God. Bob says no one can really detect what's between the ears, and if the heart isn't there, sometimes it is only discovered after they signed a major contract. And I go, oh, I guess you know, Bob. That's what anybody can go watch a hockey game or a football game or a baseball game and see who the best players are. That's not hard. It's the Scouts' job to talk to them afterwards and find out what those players are like and what their marks are and how their upbringing is. And this isn't the Scout show, but I suggest you do a little research before you open your yap. Troy in Toronto writing in regarding Theo. Well, first, Wayne in BC says Theo speaks the truth and shows his humanity. He's a great human being. Oh, there's no doubt about that. And that you just saw him for an hour sitting here talking. Every time Theo comes on this show, and we promote that Theo's coming on this show, some wingnut writes in and says, why would you support that guy? He's crazy. He's a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. Maybe, but he's also one of my closest friends. And when I need something, Theo's there. And when Theo needs something, I'm there. And if you don't have a friend like that, then you wouldn't know what that's all about. And that's what, I don't care what his politics are, which, to be honest, I meant to ask him on the air if he would ever run for politics, but he said he won't for his own reasons that I won't get into. Troy in Toronto, man, are we veering off the road, but that happens. Troy in Toronto says it's not the first rounders the Scouts find, but if you can pick up a few hidden gems in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds, that's where the work is done. Nobody sees the grind they do to find those late rounders. Of course, that's where the gems are. Tom Brady, a 6th-round pick in the NFL. That's where the Scouts come in because, as I said, anybody can pick the best players. It's the hidden gems, like you say. Now, for those Canadian Football League fans that have been sitting here waiting patiently all day, it's Wednesday, and every Wednesday we do Canada's Game of the Week, that poll. And these are the games. Thursday, the Calgary Stampeders are at the Ottawa Red Blacks. Friday, the Toronto Argonauts are at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And it's a Saturday doubleheader. Hamilton Tiger Cats at the Edmonton Elkamos and the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the Montreal Alouettes. Last I checked, and I don't think, Corey, you're monitoring this, producer Corey, but running away with the poll is Sask at Montreal on Saturday night. Does that surprise anybody? I don't think so. When we first started this show 7 years ago, broadcasting it out of Saskatchewan, the Rough Rider games won every poll. But as we've expanded now and become a national show, it's not always the Rider games that are winning the polls. This week, it is. And I did not have the time to sit down and read the game notes ahead of the Thursday night game, the Week 9 kickoff, Calgary at Ottawa. But I will have time, and I would invite to hear from the viewers your thoughts on these CFL games, because I had planned to talk baseball with Mark Stiles of the Western Canadian Baseball League here, but he was unfortunately unable to join us. Ryan in upstate New York writes in and says, Game of the week, Riders at Alouettes. It's going to be a slobber knocker defensive battle. Perhaps. I mean, we're now through the opening third of the season. We're now in the middle third. You know that the coaches always, or the good ones, break it down into thirds. The first 6, the middle 6, and the final 6. We're now into the middle 6. Teams were spent the first third trying to figure out what they have, hoping to stay healthy. And now we're into the middle third, and we kind of have an idea of who are the better teams, right? Looks like Edmonton's buried already. Is Calgary going to stay at the top? It was funny that Theo mentioned he watched the Stampeder game on Thursday night here and how angry he was that the Alouettes came back to win it late. I'm like, it's classic CFL finish. Colt writes in, he is watching in San Diego, big CFL fan. He says, breaking news, Vernon Adams Jr. is not playing this week's game. PJ Walker is going to be the starter. Well, Darren Moose DuPont may want to change his picks because he picked Calgary to win that game. I'd have to go back. We did it way back on Monday. Maybe we did it too early. We got a new sponsor for our picks, both CFL and NFL. It's Pump Jack's Cathedral in Regina and Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon in Weyburn. Two bars, same name, Pump Jack, sponsoring our picks. I'll allow Darren to go back and change his pick if he wants, because that's a pretty big deal. Vernon Adams Jr. not playing for the Calgary Stampeders at Ottawa on Thursday. Ottawa desperate for a win. I was on the radio in Ottawa the other day, and they said, what are you talking about here in the summer these days? I said, a lot of CFL and some Blue Jays. I said, I would assume you guys are too. They said, we're not talking any CFL in Ottawa. We need a break from their Red Blacks, who are 1-6. So I get it. Thank you, Carlos in Indianapolis, watching and pointing out that it's 1:11 Eastern and 11:11 Mountain, if you're into that kind of thing. Visualize a positive outcome to your current quagmire. What do you got to lose? Bill writes in, he's originally from Whitby, Ontario. He's now watching in Regina. He says, game of the week, Argos, Bombers. The reason is both need a win in a big way. I get what you're saying. I think they're all going to be tremendous games. I think Hamilton and Edmonton's going to be awesome. The Toronto-Winnipeg game is the back end of a home and home series, which the Argos routed Winnipeg at BMO Field on Saturday, 31-17, which I don't think any of us saw coming. So, yeah, a case could be made for all games this week being the games of the week. Jeff the Stampeders fan. Why aren't you here, Jeff the Stampeders fan? Come on. Yep. Tony, he always says he's going to come, and he never comes. I'm starting to wonder if he's AI, if there even is a Jeff the Stamps fan, or if it's just somebody sitting at home using AI to comment. He says the Stampeders will have PJ Walker ready, and he will be put in a position to succeed. Of that, I have no doubt. But he didn't win the game when he came in last week, and that's not necessarily his fault. It's different coming off the bench to win a game late with a minute to go than starting and preparing all week, and that's what Jeff the Stamps fan is saying. But I think we both went with Calgary, Darren and I, earlier in the week, and I will speak for myself and switch to Ottawa to win it. 902-518-3033 is the text line number here. Wilf writes in from Steinbach, Manitoba, and he says, I saw Theo play Pee-wee in Swan River, Manitoba. Saw him play in the NHL and saw him play in the Allen Cup in Steinbach, Manitoba. He is a special, special guy, and I guess now would be a good time to talk about the fact that the Breaking Free Golf Foundation would be now the third annual Golf Classic. Will be here in Calgary on August the 14th, and they're looking for golfers. And Theo just casually threw that out. We need to talk about it a little more here because finding golfers is not hard in Calgary. But the Breaking Free Foundation raises money to provide free counseling for trauma and PTSD survivors. So, and then the waiting list is 2 years long. Imagine experiencing trauma, wanting to get help for it, calling up the Breaking Free Foundation. They said, yeah, we've got a counselor for you. You just have to wait 2 years. Could you imagine? So what they're trying to do is bring that wait time down by raising money, and you can help out by contact me. I'll forward you to Theo, and we will see you in Calgary here on, I think that is a Thursday, August the 14th. Kirk writes in from Toronto. He says, Theoren has all the cups except the Grey Cup. But if he played in the CFL, he'd have that too. From Kirk in Toronto. This work? Funny joke from Kirk in Toronto. If Theo played in the CFL, he'd have a Grey Cup too. It's funny because we unearthed this today. I think Theo just forgot it. But he's got a Stanley Cup, World Junior Gold, Olympic gold medal, Stanley Cup, Olympic gold medal, World Juniors, a Turner Cup from the IHL, and what the hell? A Canada Cup. What'd he say? What'd you say? Canada Cup. He's got all the cups. Theoren Fleury. He's got more cups than Wonder Bra. Theoren Fleury. We're going to take a timeout here coming up. 902-518-3033 is the number to text us. Help me out with some questions and comments, everybody, as it's me sitting here for the entirety of hour 2 at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. We might even have to bring Randy back on if he's not so nervous. He's willing to do it. He said he'll do it. We can talk some hockey and everything else. We'll be back in a moment. We are live on the Game Plus television network. We are streaming live on YouTube and, of course, always found on all major podcast platforms.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. We are live from Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Back-to-back live shows here in Cowtown. It's been fantastic. We had a great time at the Sheridan Cavalier Calgary Airport yesterday. Today from Overtime Hockey Lanes. We opened the show with Randy Krawick.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Randy. The owner, proprietor here, along with his wife, Michelle. But we're bringing him back on here in hour two. And for those that weren't watching off the start of the program here today, Randy, just talk a little bit about Overtime Hockey Lanes, what you guys do here and what your story is.
We are the fun place for hockey. Whether you've shot a million pucks or you haven't picked up a hockey stick before in your life, you can come and do hockey, try hockey. That's the long and short of it. It's a place to come have fun, shoot pucks, not worried about hitting walls, breaking windows, scratching up cars, losing your pucks. You know, I see guys out there, all sorts of stuff on YouTube. They're in the backyard, but they've got their one little shooting pad, and that's great. You know, you're in your backyard, you're in your garage. You don't have to travel anywhere. You do it right there and you're good. But here we supply all the pucks. We've got different fun targets to shoot at. There's different competitions. And the Rod Pedersen lane has a big prize associated with it. So hit it in the...
Tell them what it is, yeah.
Well, you hit it in the puck size hole, you can win $500.
There you go. Has anybody done it yet?
I've hit the hole 5 times, but apparently I'm not following the correct rules, so my wife won't pay.
Okay, well, let me just say this. For people that are just finding the place for the first time, what's your average clientele? What's your demographic of people that are finding their way in here?
The most people that came in are 15 and under, but we are having more and more people coming from older adult groups who just want to come in and work on their shot a little bit and get warmed up before a beer league game. You know, you get 2 minutes to warm up and you maybe shoot the puck 4 or 5 times at warm up in your beer league game. And here they can come and shoot hundreds of pucks within a half an hour and just get that feeling back.
I love it so much. From the moment I walked through the doors, I love it. And that's why we came back the first chance that we had. So we're just rolling with viewer comments and so forth, doing a live show here on Game Plus Television and streaming. Troy in Toronto writes in, he says, I have a friend who was trying out for the Moose Jaw Warriors when Theo was there. My buddy didn't make the team, but he came home talking about this small little guy who was unbelievable. It was Theo. Him coming through here was pretty special. Had you had a chance to meet Theo before?
Met him a couple of times, and I used to work at a gym in town here, and one of the trainers there, when he was doing his comeback, was training Theo, and he was in fantastic shape, 40 years old, and he would be able to outskate and out-muscle any 20-year-old kid. He was in such great shape. But at the tournament that he held a couple of years ago, I mentioned that to him, and he goes, yeah, I was in great shape and felt like I could go a million miles. But when I was 20 and you got hit, you just shrug it off. At 40, those hits, you felt every one of them.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Ryan in Saratoga, New York writes, and he says, I have a question for Randy. Do kids bring all their own gear or just a stick?
They bring all their own gear. Well, sticks, gloves, and running shoes. We do have synthetic ice that you can skate on. 90% of people just wear their runners, clean indoor runners. But yeah, it's like going golfing. You bring your own clubs when you go golfing. You bring your own stick and gloves when you come and shoot. We supply all the pucks.
But you have sticks if they don't bring it.
Yeah, we have sticks that they can use. Yep.
We are going to do a sports update here and delve back into it with Randy in a second for Cool Bet Canada. Jose Barrios will be on the mound for the Blue Jays today in Baltimore when the Jays look to prevent a series sweep against the last-place Orioles and halt a rare 4-game losing streak. Righty Dean Kramer will pitch for the Orioles, who have won 5 in a row, including 3 straight over the visiting AL East frontrunners. The Jays lead the Yankees by 4 games and are 5 up in the Boston Red Sox heading into today's action. Andrew Vaughn hit a grand slam and had a career-high 6 RBIs as the surging Milwaukee Brewers beat the visiting Chicago Cubs 9-3 last night. The Brewers, who have the best record in Major League Baseball At 63-43, won for the 15th time in 18 games. They extended their NL Central Division lead to 2 games over the Cubs. Trey Hendrickson is ending his holdout and will report to the Cincinnati Bengals today. Hendrickson is an all-pro defensive end who led the NFL in sacks last season with 17.5. He is seeking a long-term extension with guaranteed money that matches what the top passers are earning. Sports headlines brought to you by CoolBet Canada. Get a welcome bonus up to $200 with the promo code RP200 at coolbet.com. I ended that, Randy, with football, and I always find it interesting when I do CFL posts on social media. You're liking them, you're sharing them. You're an Edmonton guy, and I feel like you're a football fan as well. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. And a little secret, I used to coach the cheerleaders when Fleury was with them.
Okay. How do you coach a cheerleader?
I was one of the choreographers for the cheerleaders back in the 90s.
Oh, wow. You were a ballroom dancer, right?
Yeah, I taught ballroom dancing for many, many years.
All right. So listen, over the last couple of days, I didn't plan to getting into this discussion today. I was going to talk baseball, but that has changed, obviously, here an hour or two. Over the last couple of days that I've been in Calgary, we did the live show from the Sheraton yesterday. Last night at the Hockey Scouts banquet, I had a couple people ask me if I'm worried about the CFL. And I don't like the question. I don't like it. I don't like answering it at all. But how would you answer that? And does it come up in your circles at all? As you sit here running a hockey outfit, do you get that question?
I always wondered, why aren't there more than 9 teams? Why can't we have a team in Halifax? Why can't there be a team in Saskatoon? Mm-hmm. You know, you've got that big Saskatchewan following. I would assume, that always gets me in trouble, that you would be able to put a team in Saskatoon. You've got a team in Regina, put a team in, you've got one in Hamilton, you got one in Toronto. Why not Halifax?
Yeah, well, fair, but that doesn't help the CFL today. I mean, it's fun to sit here and talk about it, but if they are in trouble, what would you do? Like, I don't know. I get tired of getting asked it. Okay, because they're not asking me for my suggestions on that. I mean, why does it keep coming up, Randy? Please tell me.
Well, what does the NFL do that's different than the CFL?
Market.
Well, there's 10 times the amount of people to draw from in the NFL than there are the CFL. Why didn't the Grizzlies work in Vancouver? Ask that same question.
Because the team was crappy?
Basketball. How does that play? Yeah. I don't know about if their team was crappy, but they've got you say it's the market. They've got millions of people in the Vancouver area. Why can't you have a basketball team there or in Montreal?
Yeah, I guess. I'm jumping around, obviously, with the comments here. Jeff, the Stampeders fan, says, I don't think the root of the CFL's issue involves having 9 teams. Well, I don't want to start any arguments here. It's just it's just deflating, man. I come to Calgary for 2 days of a great time, and people are in my face asking me if I'm worried about the CFL. I'm like, switching gears for a sec. Colt in San Diego says, overtime hockey lanes sounds like Top Golf for hockey.
Oh, hold on.
Hit it. That's music to your ears.
Absolutely. We're like the batting cage for hockey or the driving range for hockey. Mm-hmm. Just come in. My wife doesn't golf, but I've taken her to the driving range. She's hit some golf balls. It's the same thing here. You may not play hockey, but you can come swing a stick and hit some pucks, have some fun. It's all about having fun. You got to have more fun in your life.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, as we sit here as a Canadian sports show where Canada's sport is hockey, and it's not even close for number 2. And as a matter of fact, I think the CFL and the Blue Jays would wrestle for 2 and 3, depending on the day. But it's hockey, hockey, hockey. And I should tell you this. You have these kids coming in. You said it last hour. They want to do the Michigan, learn how to do all these skills things. I was with 300 hockey scouts last night who are saying, we don't care if you can score a lacrosse goal. We care about, can you win a faceoff? Can you take a check? Can you pick up your man in the defensive zone? And I don't think there's a lot of that talk around here.
Well, with the scouts, I wanted to mention that. I've never coached hockey, but I've coached baseball. I've taught dancing. And when you're looking at it, you see things that the general audience doesn't see. Watching a football game, you see different things. You're looking at it from a different perspective. I went to LA and watched the Dodgers game, and I'm out picking up a hot dog. There's two little kids. They're about 6 years old. The one kid is rolling the ball to the other kid, and he puts 2 feet down, hand on top. And I'm looking at that kid going, I want to draft him. I want that kid on my team. Just doing all the little things that are supposed to be done as a coach. General public don't see those things. They just see, oh, I hit a home run or I slid into second base. They don't understand the intricacies of the game, whether it's football or hockey or baseball or ballroom dancing. You just see the retail side of it. You don't see the wholesale underneath of what it takes to make a player good in any sport. Like Theo said, play the whole game. And that's just a brilliant theory, to play the whole game and be good at all sports. You want to get noticed? Not all sports, but all parts of the game.
Yeah. Well, the fun thing here is, because I've been here a lot, and you mentioned the average customer of Overtime Hockey Lanes is a U15, let's say under the age of 15 hockey player, right? And what I love about this guy, of many things, is you had these kids camps on, and I've walked in, you couldn't talk because you're strapping on knee pads going to play mini sticks with the kids because you love it. You clearly love it. But these kids that come in, or even the parents, how many of them legitimately think their kid is going to the National Hockey League? Let's not stop off at junior hockey. Let's go straight to the NHL. I would say a very high percentage. Would I be right or not?
Do we have the Fifth Amendment in Canada? Some do. Quite a few do. They think, okay, and they're pushing, they're driving. But all my life, I've never played high-level hockey. I've played C-level hockey. But I'm over 60 years old now, and I've played hockey my whole life. Why? Because it's fun. I'm past the point of 18 when I got cut from the tryout. I went and played men's league hockey, and I've played ever since because I have fun. Not that I'm going to get to the NHL or I'm going to do anything big with it, but I enjoy the camaraderie, the exercise. It's still fun to score a goal. And since I opened this place, I can shoot better. I get razzed if I don't shoot better. But now when I can put the puck where I want to put the puck, it's a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the whole idea of this. He said it when we opened the broadcast today, that it's about having fun. It's not a training center, and I've said it forever. It's an amusement park for hockey players. But Randy says he wanted to plead the fifth on parents that come in here because he didn't want to answer it. But, yeah, Mark Stiles couldn't show up, guys, so relax about it. But as this being a hockey market, and being hockey number one, that's a good thing for you. Like the viewers' comments have come in, and John Ohm in Winnipeg says, is Overtime Hockey a one-off, or is there room for franchises? Because I get it everywhere I go. I wish we had this here. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. I want it to be a franchise. That's my ultimate goal. When I was doing my research, there's lots of places that have 2 or 3 or 4 shooting lanes, but they're all shooting at an elite level. If you got to be a member of your quadrant group or to get in there, or you're only coming in with a coach. From what I found through my research, nobody does it like we do it. Just come in, whether you play hockey or whether you're a cricket player, you can come in and shoot a puck. And I'll say it over and over again. It's going to get ad nauseum. Have fun. Have fun, shoot a puck. And hey, maybe even have a beer afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are licensed in here. And that's the other thing. I mean, we'll get on to these other sports questions here after the next segment, but it's not just for kids, because I personally know of office parties and birthday parties and all the rest that you do here too. Can you talk about that? Some of the office parties that have come through here, team building things.
We had a retirement party for a friend of ours. He was retired from the city, been there at the city for 35 years. And we had 80 people in here just having some fun. And a lot of them played hockey. A lot of them didn't. And just, oh, let's try this out. Mm-hmm. So, and with a lot of our electronic targets, there's fun games you can do. Oh, and the one game that we invented was Focky. Well, what's Focky? It's like a combination between foosball and hockey. It's a little mini rink where you reach over with a mini stick and you're hitting the puck. And all you got to be able to do is this, swing your arm. Mm-hmm. So whether you're cleaning the table or you're swinging a stick, you're out there, you're having some fun and playing some hockey. And there's lots of cheers and lots of screaming when people score a goal on that game.
Well, so Randy's from Edmonton. Can I say that here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay. You never know between these two towns, man. I mean, as you know, I live in Florida, and they like to talk about the Lightning and the Panthers Battle of Florida. I'm like, don't even call it that, because that's an insult to the Battle of Alberta. People in this province wake up and think about their rivals and wish ill on them every single day. Oilers fans versus Flames fans. And the Oilers have been in the Stanley Cup for the last 2 years. I think you're a fan of both teams, right? You're a fan of, well, you got things on the wall of every team here at Overtime Hockey Lanes. Is Calgary going to make this a rivalry again? The Flames, where do you see that going?
I think their general manager is doing a wonderful job. I think he knows the game well, being in the game, and has made some really smart decisions. People want it sooner than later. I think it might happen sooner than later. I was an Oilers fan growing up, and then about 10 years after moving here, I think, well, it's time to convert. So now I'm a Flames fan. So my son's still a die-hard Oilers fan, and I wonder where I went wrong.
Well, I hear people in this province say that they are fans of both teams. I'm like, I don't know how that's possible, but it might be peaceful in your own house if that's the case. I think it's rare that they do that. But Craig Conroy was at the Scouting Foundation Hall of Fame induction last night. He didn't speak, the general manager of the Flames, but it just feels like everybody feels he knows what he's doing and has it going the right way. What do you see with that?
Oh, absolutely. He's made some intricate moves that, like I say, like a scout who knows the game, knows what's going on, and has put the team's best foot forward.
Mm-hmm. Have not made it downtown, and I will not be making it downtown on this trip, maybe when I come back in a couple of weeks' time. But what's the progress on the hockey arena here?
They got cement poured. They got over 200 people working on that site every day. They just sent out an update as to how it's going, and it's looking beautiful.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Randy, don't go too far. We're going to be taking a timeout here, but help us out, everybody, with some questions and comments on all of our topics here today. We've covered a lot. We can get into more of the CFL in week 9 and what's going to go down and what is Canada's game of the week. That is the poll question today for our friends at EMJ Marketing. And of course, you can reach us on the text line for Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. Pick it up. Text us now. What have you enjoyed about what you heard from Theoren Fleury today? Any questions about Overtime Hockey Lanes? We're more than happy to address those. And we will take a timeout. We got a sports update coming up on the other side of this break as well. You're watching live on the Game Plus Television Network, streaming and found on all major podcast platforms.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. We are live from Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. And I appreciate Randy jumping on with us here. We're going to get to a sports update here in a second, but we're into the final two segments of the program today. Overtime is coming up after this one, brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes. We do have live guests here at Overtime Hockey Lanes today. And I wouldn't normally do this, but because our second hour guest was unable to join us, I'm going to ask them, what questions do they have back there in the crowd? Y'all came down here for to watch the live show today. Blair from Calgary is here, the Ticats fan. I'm going to take live questions from the audience rather than them texting into the text line, although we do have some there, 902-518-3033. And I can talk about last night's Western Canadian Scouting Foundation induction as well, or go to a sports update. But what do you got? Tony, you got a question for me? Blair, fire away. Gary's still here? Blair? Think about it and get back to me. Because here's some breaking news on this Wednesday. Where's my bell? Former WWE CEO Vince McMahon is accused of causing a crash on a Connecticut highway that wrecked his Bentley and damaged two other cars a few hours before Hulk Hogan's death hit the news, and he was quoted praising the wrestling icon. McMahon was cited for reckless driving and following too closely after last Thursday morning's crash on the Merritt Parkway in Westport. State police said in a report no one was injured. He was released on a $500 bond and ordered to appear in Stamford Superior Court on August 26th. Representatives for McMahon did not immediately return email messages today. TMZ first reported the crash on Tuesday. How about that, as we say? Canada won bronze in the mixed 4x100 meter medley relay at the World Swimming Championships in Singapore today, the country's fifth medal of the meet. Earlier today, Montreal's Ilya Karoun finished fourth in the men's 200-meter butterfly, while Summer McIntosh advanced to the women's final with the second fastest time. The Toronto-born phenom will chase her third gold at the event tomorrow. Our Hour 2 sports updates are brought to you by Seat Giant. Stop paying U.S. dollars for games and concerts. Canadian-owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, Taylor Swift, Justin Timberlake. They've got it all. Use the promo code RPShow for 15% off now. Check us out at seatgiant.ca. Okay, you thought about it for a minute. What do you got? What do you want to know?
I want to know if you can repair your relationship with Bo Mitchell.
Why do you care? You know, it's funny, but the people can't hear it. So I'll repeat the question. This is from Blair in Calgary. And he said, can I repair my relationship with Bo Levi Mitchell? Number one, you'd have to want to. Number two, both sides would have to want to, right? So it's, you know, it's amazing. And thank you for that, by the way. I've told a lot of people over the last couple of days since we've been here in Calgary that spent a lot of time in this town. Not long after I left the Rough Riders, we started taking this show on the road. We were taking it in Montreal, taking it to Toronto, brought it here. And because of some good friends at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, that's where it all started. I was doing the show out of there for 6 months. And that Bo Levi thing comes up every day that I'm in Calgary. And it's funny because I think of, what's his face, Luke Wilson now. And that comment of his, hot garbage, is going to stick with him forever. And I don't think he meant it the way that he did, but he said a CFL game was hot garbage. That's going to stick with him forever. It's not the worst thing to have stick with him, but do you think I want to be remembered for 20 years in the CFL as having a feud with Bo Levi Mitchell? I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's not necessarily the thing that I would want to be remembered for, or, you know, it doesn't really bother me. If you look up Google or AI and put Rod Pedersen's legacy in the CFL, the Bo Levi Mitchell thing comes up. And it all came up because why? He was trolling Duron Carter, my good friend, in October of 2017, going into a game, saying he was going to throw at Duron because Duron was the starting corner in that week's game. Duron and I are very close. Duron wasn't going to say anything. I'm like, well, I can say something, so I'll say it back at Bo. And then we played that night, and what happens? Bo throws at Duron. Duron picks it off and returns it to the house. And that what started the Bo Levi, shut your mouth. And then from there, it just took off. And there's a little more, but they're directing me to a commercial, so we'll come back in overtime. See, thank you for the question. That's why I asked. So get some more coming, and I'll tell you, Bo actually said that was a great call, but then the feud continued over a few other things after that, and then it got to a point where, yeah, we're not going to be friends. Remember, he had his 2 Grey Cup rings stolen out of his car here, and it was in the news, and I said, and I'm the idiot? Anyways, we'll be back with overtime right after this.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the final segment. It is overtime, and what a thrill it is to be hosting overtime at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. We do have some questions here that'll take us right through to the end of the program here today, and I just want to thank Theoren Fleury for showing up for hour one. It was a fantastic interview, and that reminds me, on the Western Dodge text line, Ron in Calgary writes in from the 403. He says, "Great show, Rod. Good to see you back in our part of the world. Great interview with Theo." It's great to be back in this part of the world. I've had a tumultuous relationship with Calgary. Mostly good, I think. But I love coming back here. I love being here. Love spending time here. Kevin the Medium is watching in Saskatchewan. He says, "It's funny. Rod's in Calgary and I'm in Sask." Michelle, of course, knows Kev, and Randy too. You were watching when I shot his hat off his head. That happened, sort of a William Tell moment. I shot the ball and right off the brim of his hat. Could have killed him, he says. So from the questions from the crowd, the gentleman asked about Blue Jays ads. What do the Blue Jays need? The MLB trade deadline's tomorrow. I'm not going to profess to be any baseball expert. However, our pitching coach with the Moose Jaw Millers, Dustin Mulliken, who started with games with the Detroit Tigers, says they need one bat and one arm. And I think both are available in the trade from what I've seen. So they're going to be active. Jamie Campbell has said that they've been will be very active from Blue Jays Central. I was just checking the wire here. The Yankees made a move today. So it would take me a minute to find it, but the Yankees have made a move. So the Blue Jays are going to have to do something. Here it is. Austin Slater is heading to the Yankees. The Yankees acquired the veteran outfielder from the Chicago White Sox today in exchange for minor league pitching prospect Gage Zeal. The Yankees have a pressing need to bolster their outfield ranks with Aaron Judge out indefinitely while dealing with a flexor strain in his right elbow. So the Yankees have made a move. So it's going to be an interesting 24 hours to see what the Blue Jays do. Randy asked if there will be another Ron and Don ever. And to be honest, probably not. I don't know who it would be. And I was with some young hockey players the other day, junior guys, because I think Paul Biznasty's supposed to be the next Don Cherry. And I said, "Do you think Biz is cool?" They're like, "No." No, that's what they said. So I'm like, there will never be another Ron and Don. There will never be another Sonny and Cher. There will be another, you know what I mean? It'll be something different, but we'll never have that. Tony, you had a couple questions? What years did I go to Mount Royal? 90, 91, before I was encouraged to not to finish and continue. Okay.
And the other one was, who was the surprise
Okay. He said, who is the surprise honor? Thank you for that. So Tony was nice enough to come and join us at the Sheraton yesterday where we did a live show. And it was funny because there was it was heralded that there was going to be 29 scouts go into the Western Canadian Pro Scouting Hall of Fame. But the 30th was this big secret. And I wasn't going to ruin the secret, but they told me earlier in the day that it was Dwayne Sutter. So it was an interesting thing. Again, I'm hockey number one. So being here, I enjoy it. So I'm in a room in Okotoks with 300 to 400 people that are there to celebrate the game of hockey. And I was standing at the door waiting for my buddy to show up, Perry Andrusiak. And Blair Reed, a legendary hockey scout who went into the Hall of Fame last year, was standing there waiting for Dwayne. He's like, I got to get Dwayne in here so he doesn't hear where we got to get him segued off. It was this big thing. And I didn't actually see Dwayne's face when they announced that he was going into the Hall of Fame, but it was a big moment. But Daryl Sutter in this hot stove last night, who is about as funny as that light post, was incredibly funny in the hot stove last night. I don't know if you saw any of the posts of what I've put on social media, what Daryl said. But number one, Daryl said, I don't even know how it came up. He's like, that's the way she goes. He goes, a cowboy buddy of mine has this saying, that's the way she goes. First your money, then your clothes. And everybody started laughing. Daryl was like Jerry Seinfeld on the microphone last night, which I've always heard he has that side, but I've never seen that side. And his brothers have told me, primarily Rich, he's like, don't be so hard on Daryl. He's a really good guy behind closed doors once you get to know him. I'm like, well, I'm not behind closed doors, and I'm not getting to know him. So he didn't have to be a jerk to me, which he had been at various events that we'd done. But we're at the Hall of Fame, and they were telling all these great, wonderful stories. And Brian Sutter said when he left the farm, Viking, Alberta, to drive to St. Louis for his first training camp, his dad, Louis, said, just remember, you're a farmer, not a hockey player. And not that was an insult. He goes, you're a farmer. And near the end of the program, Dennis Bayak, the MC, goes, why are you still, Brian, in your 70s farming? He goes, because I'm a farmer. I think you don't stop being a farmer, you know. And then so when we talked about this inductions into the Hall of Fame and stuff, Daryl Sutter says, our mom's 89. Why the frick isn't she in the Hall of Fame? Which everybody howled at that one. So it was funny. And then listen, you're talking about 6 hockey-playing brothers, and the 7th brother, Gary, was there, the oldest one. He was in attendance. I don't think it happens very often that the 7 Sutter brothers get together, and it was billed as a night with the Sutters, and it was everything as great as you could imagine. But Brian kept saying how honored he was to be in the room with all these great, amazing people, because hockey people are, and to me, that's hockey, because people want to talk about the bad side of hockey and all the bad things that happened. The London case, the Chicago case, there is bad things, but those are bad people. The hockey people are not. The game's not bad. And we celebrated that last night in Okotoks, Alberta. And so it was nice to come out here and be a part of that. And to have a guy like Theo to say, hey, Theo, I need you. Can you come down to Overtime Hockey Lanes? He's like, when and where? Send me the coordinates. And he's here and told some pretty awesome, raw stuff today. It was fantastic. So I want to thank Randy and Michelle for having us and their longtime support of this show. It's obviously mutual. And tomorrow we'll be back at the Golden Ticket Sports Center, back on track with what we normally do. So thanks to those that tuned in. Thanks to those that showed up here today. And most of all, thank you to the viewers, also producer Corey, and the wonderful job you guys do. We'll see you tomorrow here on Game Plus TV.
Now I'm the whore and the pimp. That's where the money is.
How about that?